5 boxes on this table. 5 completely different cameras. And I'll tell you right now, if you put even one of these in the wrong spot, you've wasted your money and left a blind spot exactly where you didn't want one. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which camera goes where in your home or shop. Let's open these up. Camera 1 is analog. It plugs into a DVR over coaxial cable. The other 4 are IP cameras. They run over Ethernet or PoE into an NVR. You cannot mix them without a hybrid recorder. Quick decode, because these model numbers actually tell you something once you know the pattern. L usually means a built-in light. I means a built-in mic. S or 2U means two-way audio. And G2 or G3 tells you which generation of AI chip is inside. Read the letters, and you can basically read the spec sheet off the box. Let's start with the one most of you already have half the wiring for. This is the Hikvision DS-2CE12KF0T-LFS, 5 megapixels, and it's not an IP camera. It's Turbo HD, meaning it runs over the same coaxial cable. Your old analog CCTV probably already has run through the walls. That's the entire pitch. If you've got an old DVR system with cable already in the ceiling, you can swap in this camera and get a real upgrade. Full color night vision without touching a single wire. The numbers back it up. 40 meters of infrared range plus 40 meters of white light range down to 0.001 lux. So in near total darkness, it still pulls color instead of dropping to black and white. It's IP67 rated for outdoor mounting, has a built-in mic that sends audio over the same coax cable, and it's a 4-in-1 signal, TVI, AHD, CVI, or plain CVBS. So it'll talk to almost any Turbo HD style DVR out there. If your recorder only takes IP cameras, skip this one completely. Coax and IP genuinely don't mix without a hybrid box in between. Best for extending or upgrading an existing coax system, Camera 2 is the budget pick. 6 megapixels, IP, from Hikvision's value line. Think of it as the gets the job done option. It still has smart hybrid light, infrared and white LED combined. Good for up to 30 meters. And it still runs Motion Detection 2.0, which tells the difference between a person or a car and a moving branch, so you're not getting 50 pointless alerts a night. It's IP67 for weather, IK08 for basic impact resistance, runs on standard PoE, and draws a maximum of 6 watts. Genuinely cheap to leave running 24/7. Here's the trade-off, and it matters if you're near the coast. Hikvision's own datasheet states this model has no specific anti-corrosion protection. Mount this near the sea and salt air will shorten its life. This is an inland or indoor adjacent camera. Best for your first camera, a small shop counter, a single entrance, anywhere budget matters more than the extras, and you're not 3 streets from the beach. Camera 3 is where things get smart. The Hikvision DS-2CD2183G2-LIS2U. 8 megapixels, built around AcuSense. Hikvision's deep learning chip trained specifically to recognize humans and vehicles and ignore everything else. That matters more than people think. A regular motion detection camera in a garden with trees or on a street with stray cats sends you alerts all night for nothing. AcuSense looks at the shape moving through frame and only flags it if it's actually a person or a vehicle. IP67 for weather and IK10 for impact. Rated to survive an actual attempt to smash it, not just a stray football. Add the built-in dual microphone array, smart hybrid light with 4 lighting modes, and 120 decibel WDR. So it doesn't blow out when headlights hit it directly. It's also a fixed dome body, lower profile than a bullet camera, harder to grab, harder to angle away from. Best for anywhere false alerts are a real problem or anywhere within arm's reach of the public. Camera 4 switches brands. The Dahua DH-IPC-HFW2841T-AS, 8 megapixels, built for a different job entirely, distance and heat. Dahua's spec sheet lists infrared range up to 80 meters, the longest of anything in this lineup, nearly double some of the others. And they don't just give you a vague sees in the dark number. They publish something called a Dory distance. Detect, observe, recognize, identify. With this lens, it can detect movement out to roughly 107 meters. But to actually identify a face or a plate, you're realistically looking at around 11 meters. That gap is exactly why night vision range on a box can be misleading. Detecting that something moved and identifying who moved are 2 very different jobs. This is a pure infrared camera. no white light illuminator, so nights are black and white, not full color. What it trades that for is toughness. It's rated to operate from -40 all the way up to +60 degrees Celsius. This thing keeps working long after cheaper electronics start throttling in the heat. It runs Dahua's WizSense AI. Same idea as AcuSense, human and vehicle classification for intrusion and tripwire alerts, has a built-in mic and audio output, plus a wired alarm output if you want to add an external siren. IK10 rated, metal body, genuinely rugged. Best for? A long boundary wall, an open yard, a farm or plot perimeter, anywhere you need maximum reach, and the camera has to survive brutal outdoor heat. And color at night isn't the priority. And now, the one I'd call the flagship of this lineup, the Hikvision DS-2CD2183G2-LIU, 8 megapixels, ColorVu 3.0, built to do almost everything. Where the Dahua traded color for range, this one goes the other way. Full, vivid color video 24 hours a day, thanks to an f1.0 aperture lens pulling in far more light than a standard lens. Smart hybrid light gives you 3 different blends of infrared and white light depending on the scene. This is also the only camera in this lineup with genuine active deterrence built in. Detect an intruder, and it can trigger a strobe light and an audio alarm automatically. Not just record them, actually warn them off in real time. Add a dual microphone array with real two-way audio, so you can talk through the camera directly. Here's a detail specific to anywhere near the coast. Hikvision rates this one to NEMA 4X anti-corrosion standard, built to handle salty, humid air without the housing degrading. One more thing before you ever power one on. Hikvision's own box literally warns that the camera module can get seriously hot if it's powered up while still sealed in the packaging. Small detail, it'll save you a returned unit. Best for your main entrance, storefront, or driveway. Anywhere you want full color identification and a camera that actively pushes back against an intruder, especially in coastal humid conditions. So, 5 cameras, 5 jobs. Let's put it together. Got an old coax DVR system already wired in? The DS-2CE12KF0T-LFS. It's the only one of the 5 that'll even work with it. Tight budget, small space, is the sensible starter camera. Somewhere with constant false alerts or within reach of the public, the DS-2C AcuSense filtering plus the toughest body on this table. Long perimeter, brutal heat, need the farthest possible reach, the Dahua DH-IPC. Want the best possible image, full color at night, and a camera that actively fights back with light and sound is the one worth the extra spend. There's only the best camera for the specific spot you're pointing it at. 3 mistakes I see constantly with these exact camera families. 1. Buying an analog camera for an NVR or an IP camera for a DVR. Check your recorder before you buy the camera, not after. 2. Ignoring the IP rating for the actual mounting spot. IP67 handles rain and dust. It does not mean point it directly into blasting summer sun with 0 shade, and it doesn't mean submersible. If the camera's within arm's reach of people, the IK impact rating matters just as much as the IP rating. 3. Every one of these ships with the same default login and the same default IP address. Usually 192.168.1.164. Username admin. Change that password the moment you set it up. Leaving factory defaults on an internet-connected camera is one of the easiest ways to get your whole system compromised. That's 5 cameras, 5 completely different jobs, and hopefully 0 guesswork left for your next install. Got a specific space you're trying to cover? Drop it in the comments. Tell me what you're working with, and I'll tell you which of these actually fits. If this saved you from buying the wrong camera, subscribe for more of these breakdowns, and I'll see you in the next one.